me put this on my little tripod thing. Hi Curti. I hope you're doing well. I can start off with a free reading. So if you've never had, yes, I gave myself a buzz cut. It is a bit of a change. Yeah, I look different, but I like it. I know it's kind of drastic. Hi, Jaded Kate. Yeah, I can't remember, Curti, if you have gotten the free first reading before, or Jaded Kate, but like if anyone wants to claim that who has not claimed it before, I can do my first reading for free. Just putting that out there, because sometimes I forget to say that as well. I can't remember who's gotten them before and who hasn't. Okay. What do you see? What do I see coming for you? Yeah, I know that you usually pay. Since both of you are here early, if you both want to ask a free question, that would be fine. Okay. So I'm going to split the free reading between both of you and give you each 5 minutes. How about that? Okay. So first I'm going to start with Curti. What do I see coming for you? Let me give it a good shuffle first. Hello to everybody watching. Oops. All right. We had a card just kind of jumping out here for you, Curti. And it's the Page of Swords. What is the Page of Swords trying to tell us? What about the Page of Swords? I'm having a weird, the lighting effect is weird. I don't know what's going on here. It's like putting stripes on my face. Oh well. Well, I think that there's something coming up which is going to cause you to be sort of suspicious or wary, or like uncertain of someone's motives, or uncertain, is this about a person or a situation? So I think it's a person and a situation, but it definitely involves a person. And I feel like you're just going to be uncertain of this person's motives, basically. This is giving like sort of suspicious, or, you know, I'm kind of at the end of my rope with someone. And I feel like what is bothering you about this person is maybe that they're making it all about themselves. We have the Sun card reversed and the Empress reversed. Now, upright, these are very positive cards, but in reverse, especially with that sort of I'm feeling suspicious, you know, it's not super positive. It's someone who only cares about themselves. So I feel like you're going to have a situation coming up dealing with someone who is just only caring about themselves. I feel like this is someone who for whatever reason, maybe they are a permanent fixture in your life, or it's hard to just completely exclude this person from your life for some reason. So I don't know if it's a family or a coworker or something like that, but it's like with the Four of Wands, you kind of have to deal with it. You can't just avoid it. And again, they're represented by the Hermit reverse. They already had the Empress and the Sun card. So this is someone who's like, I don't know, it makes me feel like it's someone who gets people to do everything for them, or who like can't function alone. Something like that. So what's the advice for Kurti about this person? I'm going to have to fix the lighting because it's really getting on my nerves. I mean, it's natural lighting, but it's, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I think it's the window. It's putting stripes on my face. Well, the advice to you is the Knight of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. So again, we have more pentacles here. Again, it's someone who's probably going to be involved in your life somehow for years to come. And play nice and be nice is what's recommended here, you know. Also, like, try to see the bigger picture. With the Five of Wands as advice, it's telling you that although this is frustrating, whatever this is, you have to try to see the bigger picture of it and not make a mountain out of a molehill. If you're familiar with that saying, make a mountain out of a molehill, it's like, yeah, this person is going to be frustrating, but like your approach to it also determines how much of a problem it is. So try not to make more of a problem out of it than is necessary, and basically play nice. Anything else for Kurti that she needs to know about? So I'm getting a no. So that's what your spirit guides mostly want to tell you about that's coming up. With that said, I'm going to fix the lighting. So you can let me know if you have any follow-up questions. You have about a minute left. I'm not sure if this will fix it or not, maybe. But is there anybody good for you? What do you mean? Anybody good for you? Like, are you asking if there's like, you're going to have to clarify what you mean by that. I don't know what that means. Okay, I think that does help. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay, is there a committed and invested relationship for you? Like coming up soon, you mean, or... Let's see. Let's see what the outlook is for committed love for the remainder of the year. I'm going to put it that way. I'm not trying to be nitpicky, but when I ask something of the cards, I have to direct the cards in order to get a response. You've been single forever. How old are you? Forever, are you being literal, or are you just exaggerating? Okay, for the year ahead, what is the outlook for Kurti? Okay, for 6 years, you've been single. Yeah, I've been single for many years as well, so I get it. I'm kind of at the point personally where I'm just like, I think I'm just happier. That's just my personal philosophy. Okay. What's coming up for Kurti for the remainder of the year? Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like, so your energy is the 10 of Cups. So to be honest, I feel like you are in an energy where you're kind of satisfied with life. But I do see someone kind of like knocking at your door, so to speak, someone making some sort of entrance into your life with this Ace of Wands. And I think it will be a wish fulfillment. So is someone going to pursue her? What is it? Is someone going to be, I mean, someone is going to be attracted to you. I don't know the degree to which they're going to be pursuing you, but there will be someone who's attracted to you. Yeah. Well, Spirit Guides, why are you even telling us this? Because I'm like, will she be aware that they're attracted? No. I don't know. It's, okay, so is there advice about this? So here's the thing. Your spirit guides say there is going to be someone who's attracted to you, but they're not taking the appropriate measures to pursue you. And your spirit guides are kind of like saying, when the right person comes along, they will pursue you, you know? So but you are attracting people who are interested, and it's just like, well, they're stupid. They're not pursuing you. So anyway, that's what I'm getting. I don't know. I mean, when people ask questions like this, I feel like sometimes they just are like wanting the answer to be that life is suddenly going to be totally different than what it's been. And sometimes that is the case. I mean, I do get those answers sometimes for people. But in this case, it's just like, I don't see anything happening between now and the end of the year. Yeah, they're not pursuing you. So you're right. They're not good men. You know, like, use your masculine energy, you know? Geez, is it that hard? All right. And then, Jaded Kate, are you still here? So, Ilja's current thoughts and feelings. I'm going to take some ibuprofen because I have a slight headache. I'm still adjusting to my haircut too. I didn't think it would be that different because I wear my hair pretty short normally. But yeah, buzz cut is pretty drastic, and it is still a lot to get used to. But I like it because it's easy. That's mostly why I like it. It's super easy. All right, Ilja's thoughts and feelings. Okay, we have his energy as the Four of Pentacles, and that's how he's seeing and feeling his own energy. He is seeing the shared energy between the two of you as a Three of Cups, and he's seeing you as the Ace of Swords. So I'm going to clarify this further, Jaded Kate, to kind of understand it more. So for this Four of Pentacles, okay. Well, this is not surprising, really, you know, based on like things we've talked about before. We have the King of Swords and the Three of Pentacles. I mean, I think it is telling me that, like, he's not, when it comes to you, he's not trying to like rush into anything because his priority is more on work and career. So yeah, so his priority is work and career. He's not trying to rush anything. What does this Ace of Swords mean for how he sees you? Well, this is interesting. Wow. I mean, I think that he feels that you are basically doing the same. And he thinks that it's right, that you should do the same, that you should also just focus on your own priorities first and foremost, like basically putting yourself first. He thinks you're smart to do that. And that's also what he's doing. Okay, so that said, like, what is this Three of Cups energy that is the shared energy? And I just clarified with the cards, like, is the Three of Cups talking about other people outside of the two of them, or is it talking about their energy together? And it's talking about your all's energy together, because that's the stronger card here. So it's talking about the emotional connection that the two of you have. He feels that the shared energy is probably that the two of you still want to fulfill the potential that is between the two of you, but that things are going very slowly. But things are going very slowly because both of you have these other priorities, basically. So there's a desire he feels, that's mutual about, you know, basically spending time together, enjoying each other's company. And yet there seem to be other priorities that are slowing it down. Okay. Anything else about... Now we'll just focus. I'm going to pull 3 cards that are just his feelings alone towards you. He does wonder, I mean, I'm just like seeing this Page of Swords keeps wanting to come up, and the Nine of Pentacles. He does wonder, like, he kind of wonders about what you do with your days, or like what's your life like. Like, what's a day in the life of Jaded Kate? But what are his feelings? Tell us about that. I really need to get a new Rider-Waite Smith deck. This one's pretty weathered. So we have the Queen of Wands, the Sun reversed, and the Two of Pentacles reversed. I mean, he knows that you are still, like, holding his attention. I think he's less certain if he is still holding your attention. He thinks he probably is, but, like, he knows that he's still interested in you and that you've got his attention. Not as busy as his days, but even then, like, that was the Nine of Pentacles. Like, even if your days aren't as busy, he's still intrigued by what you're doing, because the Nine of Pentacles can also mean, like, not busy days, like leisurely days, regardless. But he's kind of intrigued with, like, what are you doing with your time, basically. And then other than that, like, he's like, she's still got my attention. I think I still have her attention. And then I pulled this card asking, like, what, if we could just summarize, like, most succinctly what his feelings are. We have the Queen of Pentacles. So he does see you as someone he would view as partner potential. Like, significant partner potential. Someone that he feels would, that if he did have that with you, that you would satisfy things in a practical sense, but also that the two of you would have fun together. Will communication improve? Let's see. I like this shirt that I have on. I think it's comfortable and cozy, and I like the color, but, like, on camera it looks so dumpy. Oh well. Will communication improve? I mean, I'm getting more of a no. Is there anything that she can do on her end to improve it? I'm also getting a no, so I mean, is there anything that he could do on his end to improve it? I'm getting a strong no there. It's like, so no, the communication is, I don't see it improving. So that sucks, because communication is very important. Yeah, I mean, I think to any relationship, it's very important. I agree. So, I mean, that's a little bit of food for thought, right? And this is advice from your spirit guides. Page of Swords, which keeps coming up. The spirit guides are wanting us to examine things today. The Sun card and the World card. I mean, what you're getting out of this is probably that Sun energy. Like you make each other happy. You like getting attention from each other. It makes you feel special. So it's like yeah. Okay, so you're asking her to notice what it is that she does get out of this, because good communication is not it. And what? Well, I mean, I guess they're saying we have the Devil card, so it's like there can be a lot of things in life where like there's something that we enjoy that we get out of it. Like I picked up McDonald's today, right? Like it's convenient. It tastes good. I mean, maybe not if you're a food critic, but is it the healthiest? Like I can't be getting McDonald's and expecting it to like be the epitome of nutritional value for my body. You know what I mean? You know, there's a good amount of protein in what I got today, but you know what I'm saying? I think they're saying like we can sometimes look to a person or a situation to provide more than what realistically it's capable of providing. Well, there's not potential for communication to improve. I mean, no. According to the cards, I mean, I don't know, like you also have to take tarot readings with a grain of salt and not live your life according to them. But I mean, if you think that there's something you can do to improve the communication, you can try and see what happens. But the cards are indicating that is not having a lot of potential. That is correct in terms of what the reading is indicating. Right. So no potential then for a life partner. I mean, I didn't ask that, but there are lots of life partners who have crappy communication. You know what I'm saying? So what the reading indicated is that there's not a lot of potential for the communication to improve. So if you're very unsatisfied with the communication now, it is definitely an important consideration. Do I want to get into a relationship with someone with the communication being like this and it not getting better? I mean, probably you wouldn't want to get into a relationship with someone, right? But that's a choice. All right, I'm going to eat some here. they gave me. You know, it is interesting that he sees you as relationship material, and yet the communication is not great. So maybe he doesn't have as much of an issue with the communication as what you do, which again would be another problem. Like, yeah, I feel like for whatever reason, it is kind of human nature for people to get into a relationship expecting that certain things about the person will change. And certain things might change, but it's definitely not something you can necessarily count on. Okay, that's better. I didn't like that angle. There's too much going on there. I do feel a little bit odd eating this. I don't know why. I've eaten on live stream before, but on Instagram, sometimes I watch these like what I ate in a day videos. And it gets me that like these people will eat a bite or two of everything that they're showing you throughout the day, and they'll look like straight in the camera. It's like they're challenged. I don't know. It's a weird moment. It's not everyone does it like that. I'm like, probably they're just looking at themselves, and it looks like they're looking directly at you. It's like, why are you like making such direct eye contact with me while you're eating your food? Their meals are my snacks. Come on. I mean, some of these people are eating a lot. What do you mean? You're probably talking about like some people that do the what I eat in the day, and it is like very like minimal, but not everyone. Like lots of people out there are like they're chowing down in their what I ate in a day videos. But I know what you're talking about. Like there is a lot of content out there, but the ones that I've been watching recently are like it's a lot of like what I eat in a day as a fatty. Like lots of people use that kind of intro. And some of them are like doing a calorie restriction or whatever, or like calorie deficit and trying to lose weight, but it's still like a decent amount of food. And then others are just like basically like, this is what I eat in a day as a fatty, you know, like just eating whatever I want. I don't just eat whatever I want because I'm on keto, and at this point I've reached the 200, I'm slightly more than the 200-pound weight loss mark, so it's taken a long time to get there. I still have further to go, but for me, counting calories doesn't really work because I feel too deprived. But when I'm doing a keto diet, I think part of it is because you're eating plenty of protein. It keeps you satiated. And then also, because you're not eating carbs, I feel like for me, maybe some people are more sensitive to it, but like when I'm eating carbohydrates, like a quote unquote normal amount or an excessive amount, it just triggers me to eat more and more. Oh, really? Are other people seeing that? I have like full bars on my phone signal. Does anyone else keep getting a black screen? I don't know what's going on. I mean, I can like try to like just restart it. Oh, okay. Well, if other people watching are having issues with it, let me know. It could just be something that's happening with your connection to YouTube, Jaded Kate, or it could be something coming from YouTube and affecting everyone who's watching it. I'm sorry that you have to keep going back and forth. I'm just being boring right now. I am hungry, though. I'm so hungry. I think that I'm about to have another weight loss, what they call a whoosh. I had one last month. My weight has been steady for 2 weeks, despite the fact that I'm like swimming like 2 hours of laps a week in addition to doing keto. But I've gotten multiple symptoms that happen before, like a quote-unquote whoosh. One of them is that you get hungrier, because normally on keto, I'm just not hungry much. And hungrier and then having to pee more. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can understand. Well, I'm glad that you're not going back to that. Yeah, I was doing the irony. I went to this group called Overeaters Anonymous. Just like a 12-step group. They use the same 12 steps as AA. They just substitute overeating for alcoholic and all of that. But these people were supporting me and making like a very huge calorie deficit. Like I was getting because I was even larger then than I am now. So my calories to remain stable in my weight were like, I don't know, like 3,000 calories. I was getting like a 1,400 calorie deficit. And I lost 60 pounds in a matter of months. But then my weight stopped going down and it wouldn't budge. And it's like, okay, there's only so much further I can go. Like right now I'm eating 1,400 to 1,500 calories a day. Like if I knock it down to 1,200, I might lose a little bit more weight, but I still have so much further to go. It was like messing up my metabolism. My body didn't function properly and I lost my period for quite some time. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're prioritizing your health, because it is funny, like how common it is for people, including myself, to like prioritize losing weight over actual health. Like the supposed goal of weight loss is to become healthier, but like the tactics that we sometimes use are like clearly not healthy. So well, I'll send prayers your way, Jaded Kate. I do hope that you're able to have kids and have all of that. I'm 44, so I don't know. I still could have kids, but I think at this point I've just, you know, I used to really want to be a mom, and then I don't know. I've just kind of come to the conclusion that I'm okay being an aunt. Being an aunt is nice. I like being an aunt. And that's okay. Like, I don't know. It's like a real struggle sometimes just taking care of myself. So, like, if I was a mom, like, I would want to be able to be like the best mom, and I just don't think it's realistic. And so, I don't know. Yeah, well, that's sad. Narcissists have a real knack of choosing the people who have the kindest hearts. Because these are the, I mean, those are the people who are going to be more willing, I think, to like be forgiving and lower their boundaries and oh man, I can hear a gentle bird chirping from where I'm at. I'm parked outside the library, but there's like a little park here too. And there are lots of birds and squirrels that come here. It's just so pleasant. Well, the Pope passed away. It's kind of a major deal. I didn't know anything about it before I met him, and my spirit guides kept bombarding me with info after I asked what was wrong with him. Well, good for your spirit guides. Yeah. Oh, I just saw 2 cardinals fly away. Wow, I had a stressful moment last night, and then as I was driving home, I saw a baby bunny run across the road, and then I had a possum like stop in the middle of the road. The Pope also had cardinals. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, when I see cardinals, I think of my mama, my mom's mom, who's passed on, because she collected cardinals. I mean, generally speaking, cardinals are often a sign from departed loved ones, or that's what I've heard. But she, in particular, like, she loved cardinals. So I just associate it with her. But yes, the Pope also had cardinals. I wonder how did they go about the process of choosing the new Pope? Does it begin before the Pope passes, or do they only start the process after? I don't know. I feel like, I don't know how long this Pope was in office, but, or whatever you call it, but I feel like I kind of remember when he took over. It is a significant moment, though, right? Because I guess like King Charles has not been doing well, so people were like more so expecting him to pass and not as much the Pope, even though the Pope's health, I guess, wasn't great as well. People were more focused on like, is King Charles going to pass away and blah, blah, blah. Hundreds of cardinals come together after the funeral and lock themselves in there until a new pope is chosen. I thought the new pope was also going to be very progressive. Well, this guy was more progressive than what they had before, though, right? I think. This says there are 0 people watching. Are you still having that issue, Jaded Kate? King Charles has again been in hospital, and yes, he won't make it next 5 years. William will be king, yeah. I mean, I kind of had a feeling that King Charles would not have a long reign. I mean, obviously not as long as his mom, just because he got started so late in life compared to her. Yes, Francisco. Are you Catholic, Jaded Kate? I will confess, pun intended, that I don't know a whole lot about Catholicism and how it works. Like I grew up Christian, but not Catholic. And I'm definitely still a believer in Jesus Christ, and I'm intrigued by Catholicism, like all the saints and stuff, but I have Dunning-Kruger effect, right? Like I really don't know that much about it, but I kind of like the fact that, well, in my understanding, like as a Catholic, you can kind of connect and work with saints too, or right? Or like pray to saints. I don't know. I think Catholicism is intriguing to me. You thought Ratzinger was evil. So he was the one before Francisco. What a name. It's not a very pleasant name. Technically speaking, we Belgians are raised Catholic, yes, but I don't like the church because someone said it was an egregore amassing more power by playing on the fear of the people, which is basically what Jesus Christ was against. And like, it's so ironic that then this new religion emerged called Christianity, which it's like a lot of Christianity is doing the very thing that Jesus Christ was like speaking out against. Jesus didn't like that. Jesus didn't want people to use God in order to gain power and glory and superiority for themselves. That's what he was against. So, I mean, that's the bit, and like I'm 44 now. I was like in my 40s before I even like truly realized, honestly, that that's what Jesus's message was. Like it gets so lost in what is called Christianity. Yes, Yeshua only got mad 2 times in his life, and that money grab from the church really irked him. It really, really, really did. Yeah. Gosh. Yeah, I don't understand like how his message could be so lost. And I don't know. I love listening to channeling of him, and he's definitely not approving of the church. I imagine so. I've never heard a channeling of Jesus. That is fascinating. I've been to some channelings before, and actually I had a client recently who channels, and she was talking some about her business. But the first channeling I ever went to, it was over a decade ago. Well, it was almost like probably 2 decades ago, but it was a channeling of the Archangel Gabriel, and that was really fascinating. And then I also saw some channelings of some other, like Metatron, Kuan Yin. When Kuan Yin came into this woman who was channeling, the energy just like went out in these beautiful, loving, concentric circles. Like you just feel the energy of love. It was so wonderful. But yeah, that would be fascinating to hear a channeling. Now, I do feel like I've had some conversations with Jesus Christ, which are special to me, but I just feel like even having had those, like who Jesus is has been more confusing to me than was necessary, simply because of what the predominant Christian mindset about it all is. Like, they really are out here confusing people to death, like so focused on sin, sin, sin. Jesus was not like that, you know. I don't have much personal knowledge of Archangel Uriel, but I am intrigued. Like, what is he like, and like, what is it that you like about him? It's not that people. It's not that Jesus wanted people to be doing like hurtful things to each other, but like Christianity is so much. People just focus on, like, I don't know, it's like wanting to judge each other for sins. And it's like, what even is a sin? Someone decided something was a sin, and then it became a sin, which Jesus was against. Like, in my understanding, like, of the Sermon on the Mount, he was pointing out it's impossible not to sin. He's saying you'd have to cut off your hands. In order not to sin with your hands, you'd have to cut off your hands. People will pretend that he was being literal, and it's like, okay, really? Did you cut your hands off then? Pluck out your eyes. If he's so literal, why didn't you pluck out your eyes? We all know he's not being literal. He's pointing out, like, all of the people in the spiritual hierarchy have created this impossible system to be saved. And he's like, but God has already given you that. You just have to accept it. I don't know. I like Uriel's energy. He's the one that helps with accessing knowledge and advancing you on your spiritual path. Oh, okay, well, that's very nice. Yeah. I need to find a spirit guide right now to work with who can help me with more like peace. I just feel really unsettled, but I also know, because of my progressed ascendant is about to change. Like, to me, it's happened before in my life. And like every time my progressed ascendant changes signs, it's like a significant, like, my whole life changes. And this year coming up to it has been like such a difficult year. Like, as I've gotten to the end of my progressed ascendant being in Aries, one of the things that Aries is about survival. And when you get to the 29th degree of a sign, it really is like the crescendo of what that sign's meaning is. And so I have been in survival mode for the past year. Now I'm moving in progressed ascendant in Taurus, which should be an easier energy because it's Venus ruled. And it is more about the enjoyment of life, but it's still a lot of changes. I don't know. The only book from the Bible that was tampered with the least is Revelations, where Yeshua is basically telling them how to access Christ consciousness themselves. That's interesting. So I'm not aware of those passages. I don't read the Bible a lot, though I will also confess, but like the passages from Revelations that I'm more aware of are the ones that are like the beast and the, all of that stuff. But maybe look into Zadkiel, tolerance and compassion, or Chamuel. So see, Chamuel, I do feel like I have kind of gotten signs from before, or something, but I haven't actively tried to work with Chamuel. I'm going to write down both of those names. Zadkiel, Chamuel. Yeah, I'm really struggling with all of that right now, to be honest. I don't know. It makes me sad because I feel like I'm a loving person, but it's like it's a struggle to be loving lately. And it's interesting because one of the things that people will say about Tauruses is that they're very patient, but I think that they're very patient with a concerted effort, you know? You also have to take into account the opposite sign being Scorpio, like that. This is the energy that other people are bringing into a Taurus's life. I don't know. I'm overanalyzing it, but I know that I'm going through a significant life change. I think that it's mostly a positive change, but change itself is a struggle. And I'm struggling. I just feel like I have to really dig down deep to find patience. Zadkiel was the archangel present at the most sacrosanct part of King Charles' coronation when they lifted the sword and gave him the crown and scepter. That's interesting. And Zadkiel is about tolerance and compassion. Just trying to think about that in light of what happened with Harry. Yes, I felt an archangel present, but knew it was not Michael. The energy was softer. Oh, compassion with yourself. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that being something that he would need help with, taking on this role, and I'm sure he had a lot of expectations for himself and felt a lot of expectations from others, like, right? I would imagine. Like, after I mean, your whole life, decades spent knowing at some point I'm going to take on this heavy responsibility. And there's a lot expected of me. Maybe also Raphael for healing. Yeah, maybe I just need to connect with angels more. It's been a while, really, since I've done that. I used to, in my 20s, actually, do a lot of, like, I would call in angels to help me with Reiki healings and stuff. Of course, Lord knows I needed it back then, but I feel like I'm needing it now. I don't know what's going on. I'm also astrologically Chiron is opposing my natal Pluto, Juno, Lilith conjunction. It's just a lot. Like, I feel like heavy, in my experience, significant Chiron transits, or even sometimes the moon transiting Chiron for me, I get so sensitive to everything. Like everything, I take everything personally. And also, I think I do attract more of personal attacks. It's a bad combination. But okay, I'm going to write Raphael down as well. Oy vey. Thank you so much for helping me. I really appreciate that. There are other angels, but I'm not well versed in angels. I just know some snippets. Well, I guess you know what you need to know, right? I kind of trust that sometimes, like when I need to work with a particular spirit guide, maybe it'll come into my awareness, like now, right? I'm going to look into these angels and see. Yeah. Didn't even know much about Zadkiel before the coronation, actually, but figures he would be with Charles since he has issues with his son. And Zadkiel, yeah. I know what you mean, though, because, again, I can't remember the name and I can't Google while I'm live streaming, but I've had that happen to me, too, where I wasn't aware of an entity, but I found signs. And for me, I don't know how it worked for you that you knew that this was Zadkiel, but, like, yeah, tolerance, compassion, forgiveness. I do feel like King Charles has handled it pretty well. I don't know. It's a tough situation. But anyways. Yeah, there was the last spirit guide that I really felt calling out to me to work with me was the one I mentioned in my last live stream, who was wanted to help facilitate my connection to animals, and like being able to understand animals. And again, I cannot think of his name right now, but anyways. But I saw these different symbols and I Googled them and I kind of figured out, like, I knew somebody was trying to speak to me. Anyway, I figured out it was him. I'd never heard of him before. Well, I knew it wasn't Michael, so I asked for clarity on who it was, and the following day I got 3 different messages from Spirit, even a license plate with ZDKL. That's really cool. I love that. Yeah, I appreciate that as well, because I feel like a lot of people, if I was trying to explain that this, entity had reached out to me to help me understand animals, that they would think I'm wackadoodle-doo, which, there are plenty of wackadoodle-doo people in the, like, spiritual, new age, metaphysical world, and outside of it as well. But I don't think that it makes me wackadoodle-doo. I don't know. I can't remember the name. That's the silly thing. I'd have to Google it again. I suck at names. He's a demon and he takes a crow-like form. He looks like a crow humanoid. I think his name starts with a C. Again, I can't use my phone to Google while I'm live streaming. Otherwise, I could just look it up. Yeah, I'm sorry. But I did have a couple of interesting experiences with crows after that. I just try to be open to whatever spirit wants to show me. Yeah, that is a good approach. Yes, very intelligent. This crow that I spoke with, it had seen me giving foods to these squirrels over here, and I had up to that point had like, you know, given food to the birds, and then I started giving food to the squirrels as well. This crow came up to me, or like it was not came up to me. It was on a tree branch above my car, and it was just pissed off at me. And I knew that it was pissed off at me because I was feeding the squirrels. And so I responded and I crowed back at it. But in my mind, as I was crowing, I was thinking the thoughts that I wanted to communicate to it. And it listened to me. You know, it was silent and it listened to me. And basically what I was saying to it, I know this sounds silly, is like, listen, I can give food to the squirrels and also give food to the birds. Me giving food to the squirrels is not taking anything away from you. And then I got this response back because it had been cawing so loudly and like angrily. And then the response that it came, it was, I have never heard a crow sound like it was, woo, woo, woo. It was like so warm and mellow. Like after I had said that to it, it's like, okay, this crow understands what I'm saying. And that was like shortly after I had the experience with this entity. I know it sounds stupid and because I can't even remember the name of the entity. But in any case, like I spoke to a crow. I really feel like that crow understood me. And I understood it. He was kind of trying to apologize, I guess, but also I think he was just saying like that he understood. But yeah, it was so like soft and warm. I've never heard a crow sound like that. And so extremely different from what he had sounded like when he was first approached me. I had another interesting experience with the crow, and this was when I had put chicken. I had some leftover chicken. It was about to go bad. So I'd gotten like a container of like rotisserie chicken that had been pulled off the bone, but I couldn't eat it all before it was going to go bad. So I put it out to the birds in this parking lot and like birds love chicken. They'll eat it. They need protein. And so all these birds were coming, and I'd done this a couple times before, and then all of a sudden this big crow, which clearly it was like an older crow, it hopped over to me and it started squawking at me real mad. Like it's on the ground outside of my car, so I can see it like through my car door window. So mad at me. And then I look down and I notice, and this crow was not eating the chicken. The other birds were. Crows and other birds eating the chicken. And I looked down at this crow that was so mad at me, and it had one foot missing, one leg. So it was just hopping around on one leg. And I feel like the crow was mad because I was feeding I was feeding birds to the birds, right? Because chickens are birds. And this crow had been eaten. Part of it, its leg, probably was eaten by something. And it was so mad at me. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I had some cheese and I threw it out some cheese and it ate the cheese and it was happy and then it flew away. It did not want to eat the chicken though. It did not want to eat another bird. I mean, I get it, but it's like this when we say like crows are intelligent, this is like the level of philosophy almost, like, you know, it had its own worldview about it's not appropriate for birds to be eating other birds. It's such a weird experience. Yeah, kind of. I mean, this bird was taking personal offense. I'm assuming, you know what I mean? Like, I'm making some assumptions here, but like, it wouldn't eat the chicken. It was mad at me, and it was missing a leg. Now, this was an older bird. It was big. I mean, crows are big, but this was clearly a crow that had lived. I don't know how long crows can live, but this was like an elder crow. And it just was really not having it. But it liked the cheese. Birds also eat cheese. I don't know. Something that I've found out along the way. It's like actually good for them to get like protein like that sometimes. But anyways. Funny. No bread that has salt in it. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So bread is not good for birds because there's salt in it. I don't. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, they'll eat it though. But I guess just because they'll eat something doesn't mean that it's good for them. Because I know they love French fries. I mean, I don't normally get French fries. Even when I'm not eating keto, I'm just not much of a fry person, but I have given fries. I mean, I remember once they accidentally gave me fries with my meal, and then I immediately, because I was on keto at the time, like threw them out for the birds. I didn't realize salt was so bad for them. People keep giving birds stale bread, but it swells up in their belly because of the salt, and it's not healthy. Oh. Seeds and worms. Yeah, maybe I should go get some bird seed then and feed the birds. I actually haven't fed the birds in a while. Of course, we're just recently getting out of winter time, but yes, protein is great. Peanut butter also contains some fats, but that's more for winter. I've given peanut butter on bread to squirrels before, and they loved it at this one park that I go to, but that is a park where people often picnic, and I think because of it, those squirrels have become a little bit more used to human food. But over here next to the library, I tried to do the same thing, and the squirrels here were not so interested. Because, yeah, there's a little park area here, but people don't often come here to eat like they do at that other park, because the other park has like grills and lots of picnic tables and stuff. So it's kind of designed for that. This is just more like a chill place that where you could potentially sit outside the library if you wanted. But now these squirrels, so then I left like fruit for them, like apples, kiwis. I don't know if they even ate it though, but like they did pick, one of them picked up one of the kiwis and put it inside of a hole in a tree to save it. And I'm like, squirrel, this is not a great idea. This is not going to keep like a nut keeps. But so then I cut up some fruit and put out for them. But I think these squirrels are kind of just used to eating their acorns and stuff, you know, and that's what their preference is. They have a more natural diet, these squirrels. The squirrels over at the other park, they're more open to eating people food. But dang, the squirrels over there, they loved it when I put out some peanut butter on bread for them. Yeah. Also, like apparently it is good for them to, I mean, if you give squirrels a lot of soft food, I guess it's bad for them because they genuinely need to be chewing with those teeth that they have. But like occasionally it's fine. Have you seen this video before of this? So there was this woman who would put out food for the squirrels outside of her house, and then I don't know if it's just squirrels in general or this one particular squirrel who would come up and she would give it food, but the squirrel one day was caught on door cam bringing a cookie to this woman. The squirrel found a cookie somewhere, a wholly intact, like one of those iced sugar cookies, and like brought it up and left it for the woman on the top of her balcony leading up to her porch. I know, it was so adorable. It was so sweet. I'm sure she did not eat it, but it was a very sweet intention of this squirrel. I'm gurgling. Well, I'm guessing they must have some at least ideas of options for potential popes, right? Ahead of time, I would think, but also I have no idea how it works. But you said you're expecting the next pope to be fairly progressive. I see water birds every day, swans and white herons. Oh, that's really nice. I don't live anywhere close enough to water that I would be seeing water birds, but that would be nice. Do you see geese? Geese like to be around the water. The spiritual channel said it, Nikki Allen, but I could also be Amanda Ellis. Oh, like a prediction about the Pope being progressive. Okay. Geese. I think geese are so funny, but they're hateful. They are hateful, but it is kind of like endearing in a way. I don't know. They crack me up, geese. And Red Mountain Shaman just makes videos every Sunday, so her next video will surely have something about the Pope. Yeah. I mean, I guess the content that I've seen about it has been more astrology focused about his passing. Like someone on this astrology forum on Reddit posted his death chart. So the Uranus was right on the ascendant of his death chart, and then he died as, I guess, Mars and Pluto were opposing, but it did seem like a very sudden death. But it's so interesting that just the day before he passed, he met with J.D. Vance, the U.S. Vice President. Like it happened so quickly, right? To go from having a diplomatic visit to the next day you just passed. Well, this wasn't a transit chart. It was like an event chart for the exact moment and place that he died. So that's called a death chart. Just like your birth chart is a chart made for the moment that you were born, you can make a death chart in the same way. I prefer to look at the 8th house. I feel like the 8th house is very revealing of someone's actual natal chart. Like, I know this is a little bit maybe creepy and morbid, but like for example, Michael Jackson has Jupiter, if I'm remembering correctly, Jupiter conjunct Neptune in his 8th house, because the 8th house is the house of death, among other things. But you can find out information about a person's death from their 8th house. Anyway, Michael Jackson has Jupiter conjunct Neptune. Well, there could, I mean, I would think there's something Neptunian involved in your death, which could be a lot of different things. So it's hard to necessarily make an exact prediction, but like to look at someone's 8th house after the fact, it is interesting. Like Michael Jackson died of an overdose of pain medication. Neptune is like escapism. It does rule things like pain medication or like intoxication, where we're escaping reality, that type of thing. And then Jupiter is like, can be like overindulgence, or like just too much of something. So anyways, he died of a drug overdose, right? Like too much medicine. So anyway, the Pope has Saturn in Pisces in his 8th house, and he died of old age. So Saturn in the 8th house can often indicate that, because Saturn limits and restricts things. So in the 8th house, it's like limiting and restricting death. In other words, it's prolonging the moment until death happens. So in any case, I guess the other way that you can put it is Saturn in itself represents old age. So you would be older when you died, which obviously he was. And he also has, his Saturn is sextile his Mercury, which is on his descendant. And so I just thought that was pertinent for the fact that he had this diplomatic conversation, because the 7th house has to do with diplomacy. Descendant is the cusp of the 7th house, just the day before he died. And and that he had enough mental acuity, because Saturn in a harmonious relationship with Mercury also can indicate like the mind is solid and stable, the mind is reliable. So even right up to his death, his mind was reliable despite the fact that he was so elderly. I have a lot going on in my 8th house. I have both Jupiter and Saturn conjunct, in addition to Pluto, Lilith, and Juno. Kind of like Elizabeth, who had a meeting with her new prime minister before she died. Yeah. I don't know. I have like weird conspiracy theories about the royal family. I don't know if it's worth getting into, but like, because they're just conspiracy theories. I have no idea. But yeah, there is something, it is strange. Again, yeah, her death came so suddenly. But was she meeting, I mean, what was the meeting with the prime minister about? Like, she meets with the prime minister pretty regularly, right? Like, if she had any inkling that she was going to die, I kind of feel like she knew that she was going to die. Right, let's not open up that can of worms. Yeah, it's probably not a good idea. But I will just say, I feel like she probably knew she was going to die. I'll just say that. Liz Truss had been elected, so it was the first meeting. Oh, okay. So it probably wasn't like, I'm meeting with you to let you know that I might be dying soon. I could be wrong. I just feel like she kind of knew that she was going to die. I don't know. I'll just leave it at that. But I mean, anyways. She lived a very long life, had a very long reign. Oh, okay. She didn't tell the public she had bone cancer for a long time, and she definitely knew. This last full moon was on my Pluto, and I think it was the last one. It's a recent full moon, the full moon in Libra. And at first I was like, oh, I would expect like something drastic to happen or like whatever. Nothing was happening. I'm like, wow, that was real chill. And then it like all of a sudden the past couple of days, I feel like I'm finally feeling those effects. Because it's a lot. Like the full moon was on. I have a Pluto, I know I've already said this. Pluto, Juno, and Black Moon Lilith are all conjunct around 24 degrees of Libra for me. Charles is the in-between king until William steps into his role. Apparently he will reign for a long time and he will be a great king since he used to be King Arthur. That makes sense to me. Is that something that you've heard someone say in one of these like one of these podcasts or whatever that you watch, or is it a feeling that you get, or all of the above? I mean, it kind of makes sense to me. I do feel like there is something about William that is that type of energy. Okay, Amanda Ellis. Okay, I'm gonna have to check her out because I feel like I've heard people mention her before recently, that I have not watched her content, so I don't really know. I can see that with William. I can. Do you feel, does she say anything about any of his children succeeding him? Because I feel like his oldest son, I remember when his oldest was born, I can't remember the kids' names right now, but like a lot of astrologers online were looking at the chart, and there do seem to be a lot of indicators in that kid's chart that he would be also king, and I would think a quote unquote good king. But then who knows? Because also after the daughter was born, they changed the rules, right? That also a female, they changed the rules somehow. But anyway, I guess a woman could already succeed, but like there's something different about the rules. Excuse me. Well, who is Harry the reincarnation of? Does she say anything about that? Oh, poor Harry. His oldest son, George, will be a great king as well. He does have two great role models. Charlotte will become Princess Royal, and she's a powerhouse, and their third son, Louis, turned 7 today. Rascal, yeah. And he has a rascal chart, too. I can't remember exactly, but I have looked at his chart, and, like, you can see the rascal nature also in his chart. But a funny kid. Amusing, but rascally, for sure. Total rascal. That is funny. Harry and Meghan are Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. Wow, that's fascinating. What about Charles and Camilla? I feel that they have been together in a previous life. This is not their first lifetime being a couple, I don't think. Twin flames, yes, I felt that too. Yeah, because they have nicknames for each other, and I'm wondering if they actually know about some previous lifetime they've had together where they used these names. I can't remember what the names are, but they're like, but they call each other these names, and I'm wondering if that's like from a different lifetime where they were a couple and had those names. Fred and Gladys, yeah, yeah. Exactly, Fred and Gladys, wow. We're really going down some rabbit holes today. We're not going down as deep in the rabbit holes as we could because I think we both agree it's better not, but I don't know. Like, I really feel for Harry because I don't know. Like, I don't know. For one thing, like to grow up, I don't know. There are just so many reasons. Like losing his mom when he was young, knowing that he was not the quote unquote chosen son, knowing that there's a strong likelihood that Charles is not even his biological father, and like, I don't know, it's just a lot. I just feel like it's a lot. Amanda does channel Diana often, and it's always insightful. Those names are pretty 60s inspired, but that is an interesting take. Well, people can have, you mean because they would have already been born by then? I mean, people can have concurrent lifetimes that cross over in terms of our linear timeline. Like, our souls can be incarnate, I believe. I don't know, like, nobody else has to believe it, but I don't think it rules it out that they are names. I mean, I'm not saying that this definitely, it's just a thought that occurred to me. It is pretty well known that Charles is involved in the esoteric and knows a lot about esoteric things. Like, he's involved in a lot of secret societies and like has a pretty high ranking position in a lot of them. Like, that was even published even on their like website once, I saw, where it like listed all of the different, the order of the this or the that he was and what his rank was in it. I mean, they're not trying to hide it completely, you know. William and Harry will come closer together after the death of their father, but Harry is still trapped in his marriage to narcissist Meghan. Yeah, Freemasons. Well, I'm glad that they'll come closer together. I do think that's true of Meghan, like, but what I also think about Meghan is that people will not give her a break on anything. Like, I think to some degree the press is a little bit unfair to her. It's like she can't do anything without it being somehow turned into like a negative, and I don't know. I just feel like that would be like, it'd be really hard to live with all of that pressure of everything you do is wrong. But she should be proud of herself too, though, because like, despite all of the negative press, I mean, everything that I saw about this, the product launch that she came out with was so negative leading up to it, and then she like completely sold out. I mean, I don't know how much product she had, but she sold it all very quickly. So clearly she's got a good business on her hands. You know what I mean? But narcissists don't care because they just dismiss the negative criticisms as hate or racism. Well, that's true. I mean, I think narcissists would still probably prefer to have positive feedback, though. Of course, they're going to dismiss it and discredit it, but I'm just saying a lot of the criticism is worthy of being dismissed, not as hate or racism. You know, like, has there been racism towards her? I think yes. But is she also like kind of milking it in certain ways? Like, I don't think that asking about, for example, I don't think that asking about a child's potential skin tone is racism, personally. I don't think that it is. But I guess it depends on how it's said, maybe, what the intention is behind saying it. But like, people are often curious about like, oh, what is this child going to look like? I mean, I don't know. I don't think personally that that's racism, but yeah. I mean, I understand it. I'm just like, I'm trying to have, she has definitely gotten under my skin before, but at the same time, like, I try to be fair. And I'm like, okay, there are things to criticize, but also people criticize her on things that are just like unnecessary. And that's just because those stories sell, you know, like, people know they can write about her and be negative and it will get read. People will read it. So it just snowballs. But yeah, they have created a lot of drama around themselves. And so they have kind of created this shitstorm, so to speak. Like, they contributed to things being this way, for sure. But I don't know. What I found fascinating about her product launch, though, is like how many people had not apparently like encountered honey with honeycomb. I mean, I guess I'm glad she's introducing people to honey with honeycomb. Like, it's not something that I would buy very often, but I have had it in my life. I don't think it's that rare to find it. Like, if you want to get some honey with honeycomb, you can, but anyway, I mean, I felt good for her. I mean, obviously they have to take care of themselves somehow financially. So I don't wish bad things for them. Honeycomb is available in any Turkish shop, pretty cheap. Yeah, I think I've encountered it more at farmers markets, but like even some grocery stores sometimes, well, you're saying at a Turkish grocery store, but even like mainstream grocery stores, I think sometimes will. Yeah. Yeah, I am the same way. Although, unfortunately, I eat a lot of artificial sweeteners, so that's not good. Well, that ibuprofen helped because I had like a kind of a semi-headache and it has gone away. A little bit left of a protein shake that I started yesterday. I got this cookies and cream flavor. I'm not really getting cookies and cream from this. It does taste, kind of just tastes like chocolate with maybe a little bit of vanilla, which I guess is kind of what cookies and cream. Oh, it says I'm live. I must have, did my live stop? Of course, I still eat cookies, cakes, etc. Yeah. You're just saying you don't like to add a lot of extra sweet stuff. I guess I'm live. All of a sudden it popped up and said, "You're live," as if I'd just gone live. So I don't know. Well, if anyone watching wants to order a reading, let me know. Otherwise, we'll just kind of sit here and keep chatting. Yeah, I got used to not eating sugar due to the eating disorder, and now I can feel sugar going to my head. Like an explosion, yeah. It makes me feel sick to my stomach if I eat something that has a lot of sugar in it. Yeah, so I can understand. My shade is starting to disappear. What time is it? Can you also see characteristics of future husband? Yeah, I mean, I can ask anything of the tarot. I mean, that's what my journey to marriage reading is. That's like the whole point of that reading. So yeah, or maybe I should ask how I will meet them. Well, we can look into both. I mean, if you're thinking of buying a reading, it's 10 minutes. You can ask whatever you want. So it's on my website and also on my Etsy shop. If you go there to the order a personal reading, it's just like I will video record the reading and upload it as a private link and send the link to you. So that's how those readings work. And in the journey to reading, journey to marriage reading, it's so the reading centers on a true love of yours who you have the best chance or opportunity or likelihood of marrying. It's not guaranteeing that this will happen, but it focuses on a particular true love that you have this potential with, and it serves as a sort of roadmap to help you to understand how that would come about if it were. So first we look into who the person is. So I'll ask the cards, is it someone that the client has already met in this lifetime, or is it someone that they've yet to meet at this point? And then we'll learn a little bit more about the person, and then I'll pull the journey spread, which is I'll shuffle and I'll keep pulling cards until I get one of my marriage indicator cards. So there are some specific cards in the deck that indicate that's the end of the journey spread, and then I'll interpret the journey spread to sort of explain what that journey to marriage would be like, and then it gets summed up with a message from a spirit guide who would want to support you in this process. So I don't know if I can really do that in 10 minutes though on here. You'd have to order that from my website. But if you just want to ask a couple of questions about your future spouse, we can do that in 10 minutes. My shade is leading, so I need a little bit more airflow. Yeah. Okay. Yes, it's 10 minutes. Well, it's $5 US, but I don't know what that currency is that you're saying. So the equivalent of $5 US. Okay. Gotcha. Let me... Ooh. Wait. Okay. PayPal is easy since it gives you the amount immediately. Yeah, I mean, if you ever want to pay with PayPal, I did start adding that link below because there was someone who kept asking for that, and they've never, since they kept harping on me about it, they have not taken advantage of it since it's available, which is kind of what I expected from this person. But anyway, yeah, you're free to pay with PayPal. I don't know why you're bringing that up. €5 should be $5, but I have to check later. It's fine, it's close enough. It's easy in that sense, but it's not easy in other ways, you know, which is why for a while I only allowed the SuperChat and SuperStickers, because then I can get an immediate knowledge that the payment has actually been made. Anyway, I mean, it's my business. I can take payments however I want to, you know what I'm saying? I think it is pretty clear, though, that you can pay via PayPal if that's your preference. It's not really my preference. Okay, characteristics of future husband. We have the King of Cups coming up, first of all. So this is someone who's very emotionally intelligent, emotionally mature. So we also get the Five of Swords, the Lover's card, and the Nine of Pentacles. I feel like this is also a man who is going to feel a little bit like a conqueror because of being able to get into a significant relationship with you, because he does see you as a valuable woman. So this, basically, he will pride himself on the fact that he was able to obtain a relationship with you, because I do feel like he's going to view you as someone who isn't just jumping into relationships with whoever comes along, right? Like, he's seeing you as someone who has standards, who is kind of living your own best life, not needing a man. And he likes that about you, and it also makes him feel proud of the fact that he is worthy of being in this relationship with you. Makes him feel good about himself. You're the Queen of Pentacles, so again, like, this future spouse will be someone who treats you with respect and who also sees you as, I would say, I'm getting a lot of how he's seeing you, but I'm trying to direct the cards otherwise, but like, it's like he is seeing you as a woman, again, who's worthy of establishing a serious long-term relationship with. Two of Cups, he's in love with you. I feel also, this is an important quality, I feel that he is going to make you feel more at peace and validated, and like you feel at ease with him. It's not like this constant feeling of like, does he love me? Does he love me? Like, he makes you feel at peace, so you're not constantly worrying about that. It's almost, it's making me feel, this is how I want to say it, it's like you've been let into this secret club of people who are properly loved in such a way that they just always know that they are loved, and they don't always have to be asking and wondering if they are loved. Okay, so tell me a little bit more about him as a person. So I think that this guy is smart. We get the Prince of Swords, but they're smart, but I think it's been a little bit harder for him to apply that intelligence towards making money, because we also have the Five of Pentacles, Ten of Wands. It's like, I think he's a hard worker. He's smart. He's a hard worker. But I don't think that he's necessarily making a lot of money. So if that's the kind of guy you're going for, like, it's just, I'm sorry, it's not what I'm seeing. I do feel like he's smart, he's hardworking, and he's well liked with this Sun card. And yet, despite all of those positive characteristics, he has found it difficult to make money. But I feel like he will be someone who is successful in other ways, like, but money is not necessarily the area that he's successful in. I think his success is more in the other things that I mentioned. He's smart, he learns quickly, he's a hard worker, and he's well liked. So he's successful in terms of that. Okay. What else about him? So I think similarly to you, when he meets you, he will have he'll be pretty happy with his life already. And so I think because of that, he's not sure exactly like, well, do I need to get into a relationship with someone? Like, yes, I see that she's relationship material. Yes, I do feel like with the Two of Cups, like I have feelings for her, but like, I think he's like, I'm not sure if I want to go down that path. Because he's like, my life is pretty good already. Nine of Cups. He can see that you would be an improvement, but it's like, I don't know, with this Four of Cups, like I will say in the beginning, he would be not sure if he should go down that path with you. And please don't take that the wrong way. It's just like, he's like, well, my life is pretty good. I think he's seeing you as the same way as well. Like, well, we both, as individuals, like we're doing okay for ourselves in terms of like having a quote unquote good life or being able to be satisfied with life. Neither of you need a partner. I guess that's what I'm saying. He doesn't feel like he needs a partner in order to bring him happiness. He doesn't feel like you need a partner. But he knows that that potential is there. So that's going to be something that's going on in the beginning. So, I mean, I do kind of feel like in the beginning, he's more like feeling it out, like feeling out, like what's the potential? Like, I don't get someone like diving headfirst or going very quickly, but I do feel him like kind of wading into that pool of water, right? Like one step at a time. Let me see what this is all about. How would they meet? We have the Death card. So I have the Death card, the Three of Wands, and the Wheel of Fortune reversed. And then I further asked, like, what aspect of the Death card specifically are we looking at? And we get the Six of Swords reversed. So what brings the two of you together? It feels like it's like there's, what brings the two of you together is that there's some sort of potential for making some sort of change or improvement in one or both of your lives, but that change isn't being taken advantage of yet. It's like we're on the precipice of a metamorphosis, but we haven't taken the leap. Is this her or is it him? It's him. So when the two of you meet, he will be on the precipice of making some sort of major life change, but he hasn't totally taken the leap yet. And whatever this change is, I asked, is it career? And I got a no, and then I got the Hierophant. And then I asked, well, is it something about religion or spirituality? And I do get a yes. So it's something about some big change he's about to embark on or has the opportunity to embark on that involves his spiritual and or religious journey. It feels more religious to me with the Hierophant, but he's going to be prepared for some sort of notable change. It's interesting that the Hierophant, aka the Pope, is also on the Death card, but when will she meet this person? Is it going to be soon or no? I do feel like it's going to be sooner than later. Will it be this year? I feel like it will be this year, probably by the end of the year. The Temperance reverse. Temperance is Sagittarius energy, so that would be by November or December. Anything else you should know? I do feel like, again, this is not a guy who's going to move very quickly. And to be honest, that might bother you a little bit, because I think you can tell that there's a strong emotional connection, and I think that it will kind of bother you that it isn't moving that quickly. Because I feel like it's like you will be willing to take things one step at a time, I guess. But you would prefer to be like exclusive. And I don't know. I mean, I do feel like him pulling his feet a little bit here. So what should she do about that? The Tower card. Well, I think that your spirit guides are asking you to be a little bit self-reflective about, like, is it actually emotionally healthy to want things to move so quickly? So they're just saying self-reflect a little bit. Is it emotionally healthy to want such an important experience to transpire so quickly? Or would it be a recipe for disaster to push forward so quickly? You know what I'm saying? Also, I would say, like, give this person a chance to reveal himself to you in terms of, like I said, I do feel like, you know, at some point you will feel very validated by him, and you won't be always worrying, like, is he into me as much as I'm into him or whatever? Or, like, at some point you will get to that point, but, like, it will take, I mean, it's not going to be immediate, like, as soon as you meet, right? Like, so you have to allow that to develop. And so give this person time to show themselves and reveal themselves in terms of that. So anyways, that's what I'm getting. Yeah, but this is by the end of this year. So you're saying, yeah, you'll be 42 by then, but, like, if it happened today, you're 41. Like, what's the big difference between that? Like, I mean, a lot of times when people ask me when they're going to meet someone, it's years. You know, I'm seeing this happen by the end of the year. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you got to keep it in perspective. Like, if soon is never soon enough, again, your spirit guides are asking you to be a little bit self-reflective there. Everything doesn't have to happen like lickety split. Like, you know, one of my best metaphors for this is, like, if you are roasting a turkey, apologies to anyone who's vegan or vegetarian, but, like, you don't want that turkey to be done in 3 minutes. It's not going to be. It's not going to be a good turkey. You don't want to eat it if it's only been cooking for 3 minutes. Now, you can get a TV dinner turkey meal, and it'll be done in 3 minutes, but that's a very different experience from a roast turkey, right? Like, if you're wanting the full experience of a significant, happy relationship, there's no need to, like, really rush it. You can't wait forever, but, like, between now and the end of the year is not going to be the thing that's not a period of time that's going to, you know what I'm saying? I didn't say 10 years from now. I said by the end of this year. That isn't forever. And the fact that you keep thinking that that is forever, I mean, your spirit guides are kind of, like, trying to call your attention to that. Like, it's not forever. I mean, are you in menopause? You're not in menopause. And even if you were, you could still adopt. Like, how soon do you think is appropriate in order for you to have children? Because it's not, it's April, what, April 23rd or something today? I don't know exactly. What is today? Yeah, April 23rd versus April 23rd and, like, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. 7 or 8 months from now. 7 or 8 months is not going to make the difference between whether or not you can or cannot conceive children. It just isn't. You have not been waiting forever. Forever is a very long time, and you have not been waiting forever. Yeah, you're impatient, and that's understandable. We're all human. We get impatient. That's what we do as humans. But, like, things just take a certain timing. It's not to say that a relationship couldn't happen sooner than that for someone, but it's like, that's not what I'm seeing. I don't know how else to explain it, but, like, I don't know. Life does not work on our schedule. Like, remember when I was a kid, I wanted Christmas to always be tomorrow. Christmas isn't always tomorrow. Christmas is only tomorrow on Christmas Eve. It can't be Christmas all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to kind of have a radical acceptance of time. It's human to be impatient, but it's also like beneficial to try to, like, you know, work on that. See, I'm drinking more artificial sweetener. This is pretty good. This is called Wild Berries Red Bull. I don't know. You'll have to let me see what happens, because it's actually pretty soon for a prediction, I think. I mean, I get predictions a lot. Sometimes I do get things happening very soon. I get it. It's all over the board, like what I see for people, and when they ask this type of thing. But I don't know. If I were going to get into a relationship with someone that, like, I had the potential to marry by the end of the year, I would feel like it's kind of soon. But I think that's because I'm finally at a place where I'm like, I don't know, like, life being single just works for me. Well, but you never know. Like, those people might also be envying you for the amount of, like, time that you have to do what you just want to do, you know? Like, they don't have that time anymore. The grass is always greener. You know what one thing is good to do? Like, if this does actually happen, right, that you meet this person, that there's this potential of, like, settling down with, like, appreciate what you have in your life now that you won't once you were to get into a significant relationship like that, right? Yes, exactly. Yep. See? I've got your spirit guides back, they've got my back. We're there you go. I had the same kind of guidance about there's a big change I've been trying to make in my life. I hope I eventually make it, because it's just like one step after another, but you know, that's how life is. But once I make it, my life will be very different. And so I've been trying also, like, I was feeling like I wanted it to happen more quickly, and I felt also impatient. This was something career-wise. It's not about love, but. And then I reminded myself, like, all the things that are going on in my life now that I actually really like, that I won't have so much time for if this were to happen. It's still overall a positive improvement, but, like, I should try to enjoy, you know, what I can enjoy now about how my life is currently, because I will lose it significantly, maybe not completely, but, like, I won't have as much time for certain things as I do now. And it's funny, like, the closer I get to reaching this goal, the slower my own energy gets about it, because it does feel like it's just too, it's like, I do want to make this change in my life, but it feels like a lot. It'll be positive. It's just like those last few hurdles that I have to jump over. I've already jumped over several hurdles to get where I am now, so like I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but it's maybe like as a metaphor, it's like I know when I leave the tunnel, the light is going to be much brighter and like kind of blinding or something. I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. It's just like, it's funny because a few months ago I was like, I want it to happen as soon as possible. I want, you know, and it ended up not because there's all these steps I had to go through. But now that I'm getting closer to it, I'm like, I guess I'm sort of intimidated. Oof. But I'll be okay. The last few days, I've been seeing bumblebees almost like every day, but I don't think it's necessarily a sign. I think it's just because it's warm enough now for the bumblebees to be out. I think that's why. But it is nice seeing them. And then for a few days there, I kept seeing wasps. And I'm like, is someone angry at me? Maybe because someone was openly angry with me last night, a friend of mine. And it was so like, so I don't know. Maybe the wasps were predicting that. Instead of saying that someone was already mad at me, maybe the wasps were letting me know that an angry moment was coming up, because this friend of mine was just so mean to me. And anyway, I put up my boundaries because I'm like, he has been mean to me before. And I've never seen him act that way towards anyone else. I don't know what gives him the idea that it's okay to be so mean to me. But it's like, I've noticed that the times when it happens, he's like stressed out about something that has nothing to do with me. Like the last time it was, he screamed at me about something so stupid. Like I'd used a bathroom in his house that I didn't know that he didn't want anyone to use, because the last time I was there, he had told me specifically to use that bathroom. And then this time I visited, I go to use the bathroom, he screams at me, like blood curdling, and like just goes on and on. And it was because I think he was stressed out because he'd recently had a car repair. And I'm like, I mean, I didn't cause your car to break down. Why are you screaming at me? You know, like I let it go at the time, but like it made me anxious for days afterwards. And then last night he got mad at me for like no reason. And then he kept calling me Abby instead of Gabby. I've known this person for a decade. Like it was hard for me to fathom that he wasn't somehow doing it on purpose just to be an asshole. Yeah, like why are you calling me Abby? You've known me for a decade. Like I don't remember him ever accidentally calling me Abby. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe it really was an accident, but he did it multiple times. Even after I first pointed it out to him, he did it again later. And I'm like, well, now you're just doing it on purpose. But he also got mad at me about just engaging in a conversation he was having. And like he said I was interrupting. I wasn't interrupting, I was responding. But he's also, I know that he's stressed out because he has this big convention thing that's coming up this weekend, that he always overcommits to doing things for this convention. I also have a vein under my eye that keeps showing up lately, periodically. Like, what is that about? Like, what the hell is that? Am I being vain? Is that what my spirit guides are saying? I don't know. The first time this happened, I had been in a sauna. I'm like, well, maybe I just stayed in the sauna for too long. Well, it's showing up now when the sun is coming in, so maybe it is something about the heat, but I don't feel like that's normal. Yeah, it was very stressful. I don't know if I'm going to go back to his house. He hosts these board game meetups at his house, and I go there to play board games, and it's like, it's not fun. It's not fun at this point, you know? Like, I did not do anything. Like, literally, the first time it happened, like, I went to the bathroom that he had told me previously to use. And he screams bloody murder at me in front of all these people. I don't know. Like, I feel like he has, I mean, I have emotional health issues too, but like, I don't want to put up with that anymore. Like, it's not worth it to me. I'm not a doormat for him to wipe his feet on when he's stressed out about things. And also, I'm just like, why does he do it to me? Like, I've never seen him do it to other people. Well, it's not the fact that it's inconsistent, it's the fact that he's mean at all. Like, if he were consistently mean, that would still not be okay. Like, I don't appreciate someone being mean to me. Like, he brought up this game called Pandemic, and he said, oh yeah, we played it at such and such during the pandemic. I'm like, oh, that's not a game I would want to play during the pandemic. That's all I said. And he's like, yeah, well, it ended up not being a great choice. And I was like, yeah, I wouldn't think so. And he's like, stop interrupting me. And he's like, I'm trying to explain why it's not. And I'm like, well, I think it's obvious why it's not. And then he's like, stop interrupting me. I wasn't interrupting. I was having a conversation. Like, it's so unnecessary to like yell at someone. And he's done this multiple times. Like, I've never seen him do this to anyone else. At this point, I don't really think I'm going to go back. Like, the time when he yelled at me over the bathroom, that was several months ago, I think. And like, I was like, well, I'll try to give him a second chance. But like, I just felt like it was so like, just over the top. Like, if you're inviting people to your house, wouldn't you expect that they would need to use the bathroom while they're there? I mean, everyone does use the bathroom while they're there. Like, he had specifically told me, oh, when you're here, you can use this other bathroom down this hallway. And so the next time I went there, that is the one that I used. And apparently he had shut off the water to that bathroom because he said he's trying to save money. I don't even want to get into this guy's finances because it's going to make me sound petty, but he's never had to actually work. If he's having issues with his finances, it is because he's spending too much money on going on cruises and eating out all the time. And then I don't even know. It's just like, how a person chooses to spend their money is their choice. But when you yell at me because you're stressed about your choices and you're deciding the solution is to shut off the water to one of your bathrooms, what are you saving? $15 a month? I'm sorry, dummy. Maybe you should stop going on cruises every couple months. That would probably save you a lot more money than shutting off the water to one of your bathrooms. And like, if he wants to shut off the water to his bathroom, that's fine. But like, he didn't tell us that. And he specifically had told me to use this bathroom the last time I was there. He's like, oh, instead of walking around people at the table, you could go down that hallway and there's a bathroom down there. I'm like, so the next time I was there, that's what I did. I didn't know that between those two times he had shut the water off. And he was so like hyper stressed about like saving pennies on shutting off the water to this one bathroom. Like, he really needs to get his priorities straight. He's never had to work. His dad has a lot of money from being like a neurosurgeon or something, and his dad knows how to invest money well. This guy has never, he's like 50 years old, has never had to really earn money. In the decade that I've known him, he's not had a job at all. You know, which is fine. I'm not judging that on its own terms. What I'm saying is that, like, I don't understand how he is, like, taking his stress out on me. And I guess it just feels hypocritical, all of the other stuff. I don't know. Like, here is a financial tip. Not that I'm, like, great with finances, you know. I mean, I'm not making a ton of income right now, obviously. But I was, like, for 4 years, I had my own business, which was stable and paid for my housing and food and, like, gas and insurance and whatever. But you can't, if you, I just don't understand. Like, when you're wasting money, like, constantly eating out and going on cruises, and then you're, like, screaming at someone because you're trying to save money by having shut off the water to one bathroom in your house, which is also more house than he can afford. He lives off of dividends from investments that his father has made. He does not have any understanding of how the world works for people who actually have to work. Years ago, also, he asked me to drive him to the airport, which involved me driving across town to pick him up and then driving across town to the airport, right? And then driving back across town to my own apartment where I lived back then. He didn't give me any gas money. He gave me a bookmark that he had made, which is sweet, but I did not need a bookmark. I could have used some gas money to cover the cost of gas. You know, I didn't make a big deal out of it, but then a couple weeks later, my tire on my car went flat, and I called him. I'm like, well, I recently did him a favor. Like, surely, you know, he would be willing, because I know he's not working, right? His schedule is wide open. I'm like, maybe he can come and help me with this flat tire, or just give me a ride to work, and then I can figure out the flat tire, you know, when I get home. But his response was, no, because I would have to drive across town to do it. I'm like, I guess I should have known back then. Like, this is an issue of me, like, setting aside the red flags, you know. I don't know. I don't really know what the medium ground is, because nobody's perfect. This is why I just choose to, like, be in my own energy for the most part. Like, I love solitude. It's so much easier. I don't have to deal with other people's BS like this. And they don't have to deal with mine. But, like, yeah, I really don't need that in my life. Yeah, people like that are the reason for developing anxiety. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I probably should have just extricated myself from the situation when he yelled at me like that. But I was like willing to give him a second chance. Like, I'm not giving any more chances because I feel like even if he apologizes, like he did actually apologize last night when I was like, listen, this is not acceptable. And I brought back the yelling thing, which I had not mentioned since it happened. I had been nice. I like swept it under the rug. And I brought it back up again. Like he apologized, but it's like you can tell when someone doesn't genuinely feel apologetic. And honestly, I'm not sure if he has that ability to actually feel apologetic. You know what I mean? And I don't know, but for me, the difference makes a difference. Like, are you actually apologetic? You're just saying the words. I don't know. Um, I feel like I just pulled some cards about. I mean, also trying to understand like why does he make me like why does he treat me this way? I have never seen him be rude to someone like this. Never. Yeah, I hate to put that label on everybody, but it's like I just feel like I have to pay attention to the evidence. I don't. There's nothing more to be gained from this friendship. Yeah. It happened to me a lot though during the time. I know I'm just talk ad nauseum about my astrology or whatever, but like during the time that my progressed ascendant has been in Aries, because the ruler of Aries is Mars, and my Mars is in the 11th house in Capricorn, and so that's the house of friendships. Mars is like it's a difficult planet to have in that house, but before I had this progression, it was never that much of an issue. I had a fairly easy time with my friends, but during that progression, and now I'm at the 29th degree of it, so it's almost like feels like those difficulties with friends, like me being able to be myself on my own terms, which is Mars, within the context of friendship and just being an issue. I don't know. Mars also can have to do with like disagreements and like people like holding their ground and like standing up for themselves. It can have to do with arguments and conflict. It's just like, I feel like at the 29th degree, it's like this, it's going out with a bang, because on May 10th or 11th is when I finally progress into Taurus. And then Venus will be ruling my progressed ascendant. Well, thank you for letting me blather on. You're certainly not obligated to, but yeah, I don't know if it's just like a final shebang experience, because during this time, the last 20 years of progressed ascendant in Aries, I had so many problems with friendships dissolving or imploding or whatever. It's just like bad friendship situations, friends who turned out to be frenemies or whatever. And I never had that experience before. So maybe this is just like going out with a bang on that note. I don't know, man. I mean, like I've always been an introvert, but it was this 20 years of experience with like bad friendship after bad friendship after bad friendship is a big part of what led me finally to become such a person who just like enjoys solitude. Because I used to think like, well, if I'm not socializing, then it must mean I'm not a likable person, which very much might be the case. But then I'm just like, it's just easier not having to deal with other people. Like, I don't argue with myself. Like, I am self-reflective. I feel like I try to hold myself accountable. I do judge myself or whatever, criticize myself and stuff, but I don't have conflict with myself as such. I don't know. Maybe I should ask about making friends. I don't have any. My Lilith is in my 11th house. Do you know what sign is on the cusp of your 11th house? Because that will be important as well. Because that would indicate the planetary ruler of the house. I feel like you probably already know this, but I mean, I'm just helping you to dissect it. Lilith is, Lilith is also, of course, Lilith needs to do things on her own terms, right? That's what she's all about. She doesn't like to be forced to do anything that she doesn't want to do. She certainly doesn't like to be suppressed. And yet, she constantly attracts attempts at suppressing and controlling her. Aquarius, so your 11th house is Saturn ruled, or Uranus ruled in modern astrology. I kind of look at both. But yeah, so like where is Saturn in your chart? What sign and house? But Lilith on its own, we all have a Lilith. She's going to be somewhere in her chart. But like you are working your Lilith energy out through your friendships and your personal network, your associations. Saturn is in the 6th house, Uranus in 7th. So Saturn is ruling the 11th from the 6th house. I mean, I would say that would maybe, okay, I'll just say what I will just assume, and then you can kind of give me more information on what your friendship experiences are like. But Saturn ruling the 11th in the 6th, it could be that you get into situations with friends where it's about, actually I can see this in our interactions in a way. Like, you're a very helpful person. The 6th house is a house about like helpfulness, providing necessary help and support. And Saturn has a sort of strong dedication. So wherever Saturn is in your chart, it shows an area of your life where you are especially sort of dedicated. And if you have a good relationship with Saturn energy, this is where you're more willing to take on responsibility. I think in general, people are more willing to take on responsibility where their Saturn is, but some of us have a better relationship to Saturn than others. So is it Saturn in Virgo? Yeah, you could get into situations on the negative end of it. You could get into friendship situations where maybe you're taking on too much of the burdens of your friends in a sort of servitude, like doing too much for people. On the more positive end of it, it could just be that you are a very helpful friend. You know, like that friend who knows what your friends need at any given moment. Oh, Saturn in Scorpio. I don't know. I wasn't calculating it very well in my head, was I? Saturn in Scorpio. Like you might have an especially strong understanding of the psychological needs of your friends and to be able to support their psychological needs. And then Uranus being in the 7th house, I mean, let's just focus on Saturn a little bit more. Last friendship, she was high maintenance and I was laid back and she expected too much that I couldn't provide. Yeah, that makes sense to me because like even though you have a dedication to being of service to others, wherever Saturn is, like there can be like too high of expectations sometimes as well. Like it's like, why do I always have to be climbing a mountain in this area of my life? So she was expecting you to climb mountains on her behalf. I've been bullied all my life, so I was always better off alone. Well, I don't know. I mean, other than what I've already said, I'm not sure what to say here, but it makes sense to me from what you're saying. I mean, with Saturn ruling your 11th, friendships are going to be hard work, I think. But also the positive of that is that when you do have a friendship, a good friendship, like you can have friendships that really, really last and stand the test of time. Like friendships that, like, let's say you don't see each other for years and then you happen to see each other and you can just kind of pick up where you left off. I do feel like Saturn in or ruling the 11th can also give that quality, you know, of like kind of steadfast friends. Like we can, our friendship can remain intact even if we're not regularly interacting with each other. Which is also great for someone who doesn't necessarily like to socialize with their friends regularly also. Okay, if you will get new friendships, yeah. Is she going to get any new friendships? Let's pick a time frame of between now and the end of the year. I mean, we used to do this love interest, so that could be, you know, love and friendship. But let's say aside from that, like, will there be any new friends between now and the end of the year? Well, I do get a strong yes. And we get the Queen of Swords, the High Priestess, and the Eight of Swords. So I would say maybe friends who you share intellectual interests with or metaphysical interests. There's something very, like maybe you share common ground, like beliefs or interests. Then I get the Hierophant. Do you still go to church? Because I clarified, I said, is this like friends through church? And I do get a yes. The yes card is the Hermit, ironically, and the no card is the Page of Cups. So like, even if you don't go to church often, like if you ever go to church services, I feel like that would be a place where you could make friends. And again, it feels like maybe you wouldn't have to like constantly be there or like constantly stoke the fires of these friendships. It feels like it could be a friendship that builds up more slowly. Yeah. But also, like, do you go to church? Because I feel like it's saying that that would be a good place to go. You don't go to church. Well, you could try it. If you want to. I do feel with the Hermit, like I understand, it does feel like maybe you're not necessarily wanting to go to church, but if you were to occasionally go to church, it does feel like, other than church, are there places where she's likely to make friends? I do get yes, we get the 10 of Wands. Is this work? No. Something where you're exerting yourself. The gym. It could be the gym or somewhere where you go to exercise. But those, like, maybe you could take like a fitness class if you know, if you feel that that works with your recovery. Like, I don't know what your recovery is like. You know, everyone's different, but those would be places that I feel like you could make friends. And either way, the answer is yes, that you will make at least one new friend. Is it likely to be like one or more than one? I'm getting a strong, like, more than one. Don't go to the gym either. Like, do you ever go to a park and just walk? Or, I don't know, go to a yoga class, or... Well, regardless, the answer about meeting new friends is a yes. So that will happen. I do feel like the places that I mentioned are places where it is likelier to happen, but so if you want to manifest it more easily, I guess those would be things to try. But I feel like it will happen regardless. Yeah, park, but I just sit on a bench alone. Well, maybe you'll be at the park sitting on a bench, but someone else will be there exerting themselves. Could be that. Like maybe someone else is like walking, taking a walk or jog or something. You know what I mean? Maybe it's something like that, and you just happen to strike up a conversation with each other. But, you know, stay in touch with how you're feeling about it. If you do kind of feel like you might be open to going to church or going to something that is like physical fitness oriented where there would be other people, then like go. If not, then don't. Concert venues. Well, that's definitely a place where you could meet people. I guess at concert venues, people are exerting themselves because they're dancing, right? So it could be at a concert venue. Sometimes going to concerts is like a spiritual experience also. But when I ask if you're going to make friends at a concert venue, I'm getting a no. So I don't know. I'm just... I don't know. I mean, let me know what happens with both of these, you know, like it'll be, you know, I said by the end of the year, so it'll be a while, but maybe you can get back to me and let me know later on, and we'll see. Yeah, this board game meetup was one of the few things that I went to, and it was just only happened like once to twice per month, but I don't know. There's a drum circle that's happening at the end of this month, and those people are really chill. I went to that once or twice last year, and now that the weather is warm, they're doing that again. So I think I'm going to go to that. That only happens once a month, but it's like that's kind of like I don't need a whole lot. And then there's a church service that I go to sometimes on Friday nights. Occasionally I go to a church on Sundays, but I haven't been in a while. And I haven't been to the Friday night thing either. You just like to listen to the music, yeah? That's a vibe. I'm too introverted even for like concerts. I just want to listen to music on my phone or listen to the radio when I'm driving. Oh, man. I was watching some of the Coachella footage and stuff, and it's just like, I couldn't deal with that. Also, Coachella would just not be my first pick if I were to go to a festival, but I'm going to a music festival in June, and I do always meet people there, but we never stay in touch. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the feeling I get, too. Like, you might enjoy, I think it was Temperance Reverse, like, you might enjoy it, but, like, yeah, it's kind of like living in the moment, but yeah, not keeping in touch exactly. But that's okay. Friendships are friendships. Like, I mean, like a momentary friendship that doesn't last, it still adds value, obviously. Yeah, I remember you talking about this music festival before. It sounds pretty cool. Like, I think I would like that more than Coachella, even though I'm not super into metal. I just feel like more like, I don't know. I'm not sure. Last concert was Heaven. They make spiritual music. Interesting. I feel like I've heard of them. I can't remember specific songs of theirs, but I do. That sounds familiar. Sounds familiar to me. You know who I really like who makes spiritual music? Hers is very witchy, but Wendy Rule. Are you familiar with Wendy Rule? I feel like her music is so powerful. They had a singer from Mozambique. When he started, I could feel my soul responding. Aww. See, it's like going to church. That's what you want to happen when you go to church. You want to feel your soul responding. And sometimes for me it does, but like sometimes that's not what it is. But that's that's one of my favorite parts of going to church too, is like the music. But yeah, that sounds wonderful. They're from the Netherlands, so they tour frequently here. That's wonderful. That is like someone like really living their purpose if they're able to have that effect with their music. Nico Novellis. It's a cool name. But that's the difference between live music and phone. I mean, I've listened to music on my phone and felt my soul respond. I feel like. I mean, I understand what you're saying, though. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I just can't get over the introversion enough to go to like a music festival. Dealing with crowds like that, like, I don't know. I did actually, like, last 4th of July, go to like a concert in the park thing for 4th of July, and that was kind of cool, but that's not like a typical music festival. There weren't like throngs of people, although it was still a crowd, I guess. But I don't know. And I stayed for just a couple hours, so I feel like, I guess that's the thing, like with a music festival, like you're committed to, I mean, most of the time, like for, I guess you can't, I mean, you can get a day pass, but even so, like if you bought a day pass, you'd want to be there for as much of the day as possible, right? I just can't do it. Like, that's too many hours of being in a crowd. Were you saying no that you had not heard of Windy Rule? I don't know what the no was for earlier, but I'm trying to think of like specifically, other than her, like specifically like spiritual music. I'm not sure that I'm into. Does Bob Marley count? I don't know. Well, I really liked when Kanye West was doing his Sunday service. I liked listening to the Sunday service choir's music. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, she's witchy vibes, but like her music is so beautiful and powerful. She does sing a lot about like goddesses and like, I don't know, different like witchy things. Like, my favorite song of hers is called Creator Destroyer. Anyway, goth vibes, kind of. Not metal, but I mean, I also grew up going to church where we sang a lot of church hymns a cappella, and so I guess I kind of like church hymns. Like, I like, I specifically like Elvis Presley's version of How Great Thou Art. That's one of my favorite songs. That is sometimes a song I turn to when I just need kind of a reset. Also, a song by Chris Christopherson, what is it called? Let's see. Let me try to remember it. I want to say it's called Prodigal, but I don't think that's what it is. I don't know. It'll come to me in a minute. I'm going to Shane Smith and the Saints, Americana country type. He has a show here in the same venue where Heaven performed. Goth, that's also great. That's cool. They just did an Easter service. That's nice. Oh, dang. What is it? Am I strong enough to believe in revolution? Am I good enough? High enough to change losing my sister. I get lazy and forget my obligations. I'd go crazy if I paid attention all the time. And something. Oh, it says my phone is overheating. I can't think of the name of that song. It's one of my favorite songs. It's not called Prodigal, but it's something with a P. Maybe it's Prodigal. Oh, damn. What's the word for someone who's going on a spiritual journey? It also starts with a P. That's the name of this song. A person who's going on a spiritual journey. This is my brain always having this issue.